Hey everyone, and welcome to our weekly dumbbell workout. The next 3 weeks, I'm going to do push-pull legs routines. This week we're going to focus on the push. Next week we'll do the pull, and the week after we'll do the legs. It's a very popular split, which a lot of people do when they're working out. So that's what I want to try and focus on and give you guys an idea on how to do it. For the push exercises, you're really going to feel it in your chest, triceps, and shoulders. So that's where we're going to focus today. If you see the exercises over there, you'll see what we're going to get into. Hey, Kelly. Let's get started on our warm up. If you want to find yourself a wall, we're going to start with our leg swings. So even though we're going to focus on our upper body today, the leg swings still get the blood flowing. Let's switch sides. And they work on some extension and flexion through your spine, which is really good to do. And let's move into our agility skaters. So high stepping back and forth, pumping our arms. So now we're getting our arms involved, getting our heart rates up as well. And we'll go into our iron cross. So on our mats, T position, right leg comes towards left arm, left leg comes towards right arm, back and forth, slowly loosening up our spine. And we can get up and move my mat out of the way. And we're going to do some butt kicks. So just marching. Then we'll go into a jog. So again, just getting our arms going, getting our heart rates up. And then we can go into a run to really exaggerate those arms. Good. Let's go into arm circles. So start small, slowly increase until we get to your full rotation, whatever that may be. And palms up. Let's go in reverse. Same thing. Slowly build until we get to fulls. Good. Now let's finish off with our punch combo. So jab, cross hook, jab, cross hook. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Switch sides. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And relax. Let's get straight into our workout. So we're going to start with chest presses. So get your bench, or you can do this off the floor if you don't have a bench. Choose your own reps. We're doing a lot of upper body today, a lot of chest and triceps and shoulders. So pick an appropriate dumbbell set. Lie back. Like always, I do 10 reps, so I'm going to do 10 as well. So pressing straight up from your chest. Dumbbells come together at the top. Exhale on the way up. There's my 10. And we'll rest for 15 before we get into set number 2. So for the chest press, come down to chest height, wrist stack over top of your elbows. And then when you press up, you should have a nice straight line from your shoulder through your wrist. Let's get into round 2. So I'm going to focus on my breathing. Get a little bit more time to rest here. So going into round 3, what I'm going to really focus on is my pace. So I'm going to go nice and control on the way down, and then nice and powerful on the way up. Got 10 seconds. Shake up my arms. Get ready to go. And let's get started. So you can notice my pace here. On the way up, I'm trying to go nice and quick. As I fatigue, the pace looks very similar from my lowering to my lifting. So that's chest presses. We're going to move right into chest flies now. I'm going to switch my bench so it's facing the camera just for a different view. So from my press to my flies, I usually have the weight. So if you have lots of different dumbbells at home, try and do roughly the same here. So getting into our chest flies, start extended, open up, close. So if you see me do flies here before, the big thing I focus on is trying to really open up. So I leave a very slight bend in my elbow, just about that. And so it's nice and wide as I go. A lot of people cheat these and they bend their elbows way too much. And it turns into just another press. So try and keep nice and wide. You may have to adjust your weights, might have to adjust your reps accordingly. Let's get going. Round 2, set 2. So as the dumbbells come together, I'm exhaling. As the dumbbells widen, I'm inhaling. And relax. Got about 25 seconds again. So a little bit of time in between. Use this to recover. We're hitting the same muscle groups over and over and over again. So you're really going to notice the fatigue really accumulate towards the end. So you may have to drop your reps or your weight accordingly. All right, let's go into round 3, chest fly. So working on my pace this time. So nice and controlled lower and then power together. And that's 10. So moving on to the standing press next. So I'm going to move the bench out of the way for the next few. So the standing press, you don't need a lot of weight. So I'm having the weight again from the chest fly. So we're going to start this standing, just like you're in a chest press, and then you're going to press out in front of you, and then come back to center. So press out, come back in. press out, come back in. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And put that down. I really feel it in my shoulders quite a bit. Feel it a bit in your arms too as the weight's trying to come down on you. So hopefully you feel it in the same way. So for this one, the big thing you're going to want to focus on is try and keep your core nice and stable here. Especially as you get tired, you'll want to get sloppy. So if you watch from the side, as I get into round 2, I'm pressing and I'm standing nice and tall the whole time. The way I do that is by flexing my abs and keeping stiff through there. So again, really start to feel the burn through the shoulders, which isn't good because we're just about to enter 3 straight shoulder exercises. So that's going to make for a lot of fun. So shake out your arms, try and stay loose in between. Get a drink of water if you need to. And we'll do round 3 of our standing presses. So this is a great one for those that don't have benches and have lighter dumbbells at home as an alternative to the floor press or the bench press. And as you can tell, it's a pretty total body exercise. You're using your shoulders, your triceps, even your biceps to keep things in line. Obviously, you're using your chest, and then you're using a lot of your core stabilizers as well. So it's a really good total body exercise for you. So that's 3 rounds of that. We're going to move into anterior raises next. So I'm going to stick with the same weight that I did for the standing presses. And so hands face your thighs, come straight up to chin height, then back down. Notice how my dumbbell ends are touching ends. There's my 10. I'll show you a side profile next. So if your anterior shoulders weren't burning from those standing presses already, these sure will fire them up. Gives our chest a bit of a break. Gives our triceps a decent break too. And so round 2. So same thing with the standing presses for the anterior raises. Don't try and swing. Stay nice and tall. Keep your core tight. If you find yourself falling backwards, you can do a split stance if you have to. But if you can, try and keep tall and just use your abs. So you notice for the anterior raises, this first 2 sets, I have my palms face down. So it's really going to focus on the anterior deltoid. For the last one, I'm going to have palms face together. So it just opens up my rotator cuff a little bit rather than being internally rotated. And it's more like a running motion. So I like that. And it involves a bit more biceps. So for round 3, I'm going to do that. So you notice palms face each other now. As I do this, Coming up. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Whew. So shoulder press is next. You can do this one of a few different ways. So you can either do the standing, if you have the headspace. You can do the seated, or you can do it kneeling. I'm going to do it seated just because it shows much better in the camera. And if I do it standing, my dumbbells hit my ceiling in my basement here. So seated works best. And I'm going back to the same weight I used for the chest flies. So start palms facing forward, straight up, back down. Dumbbells touch my shoulders before I start my second rep. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So next round, I'll show you from the side so you can see my back posture. If you have an adjustable bench, you can adjust it so your back's supported. Then you're using less of your core. So I actually like to not use the back support if I can. Getting ready. Set number 2 coming up, and go. So you see, staying nice and tall, using my core to keep myself from hyperextending or falling back. Especially as the fatigue starts to set in, which it definitely is for me at this point. So I really have to focus on keeping my form, slowing it down a little bit more than what I typically do. Try to shake out a little bit to get the blood pumping back into the arms. So you notice on this last round, I'm going to try and keep my form all the way through, even though I'm fatigued. Starting at the shoulders, popping up, dumbbells come together, come back down. Oh, barely made it through that last set. So we're going back to raises. This time we're going to do lateral raises. And for the lateral raises, I'm going to use the same weights I used for the anterior ones. So I'm keeping it about the same. I find lateral raises a bit harder on me. And now I'm even more fatigued, so this may be a bit of a challenge. So nice and tall, up, just above shoulder height, back down. So if you can, take a good long pause at the top. Try and slow down the momentum. For me, I'm getting tired, so I'm having a hard time with it. I can definitely feel a lot of fatigue in my left shoulder. So I gotta be careful. So I'll show you a side profile for the second round. Same thing, I gotta make sure I'm not leaning back. So I wanna be nice and tall, and I want my hands to come right towards the computer just like they are. As you fatigue, Your hands are going to want to come in front because it gets easier. And we got one more round of these, and then we'll finish off with 2 triceps exercises. It's the same thing as with the chest fly. A lot of people I find bend their elbows way too much and they kind of do one of these. So really try and have it, your arms pretty straight while you're doing this. So it should come and be very, very straight. Oh, I'll move this way just so you can see everything in the camera there. Good. So we're going to move to French presses. So you can do this one of 2 ways. You can use 2 dumbbells if you have 2 lighter dumbbells, or you can use 1 heavy one if that's what you would prefer. So I'm going to use 1 heavy one. And again, just so I can stay in the camera, I'm going to do the seated, but you can do the standing if you want, or you can do it in a kneeling position if you'd prefer as well. So come around your head, hold with both hands, keep your elbows tucked in towards your head. Try to point them forward, extend, lower down behind your head, and repeat. Come around your head when you're done. Try not to come over top of it, especially when you're tired, because you'll bonk yourself in the back of the head. No need to give yourself a bump on the head or worse, a concussion type of thing. So just try and come around. Typically what'll happen if you do hit it is, at worst, you kind of bleed. But let's avoid injury. All right, so round 2, really focus on that full extension. Try not to let your elbows flare as best you can. So keeping the elbows tucked and pointed forward. Notice how there's not a lot of daylight between my upper arms and my head. And I want to keep it that way all the way through, even though I'm getting tired here. And come around. And we got one more set. I should show you a side profile. So same rules apply as the shoulder press. I want to keep my back straight when I do these, so I'm staying nice and tall. I don't want to round, and I don't want to over hyperextend, which typically doesn't happen when you're seated. If anything, you might kind of fall back a bit. And go. So round the head, grab the dumbbell. And done that one. Let's finish off your reps. Then we're going to go into tricep kickbacks. Probably need a fairly light weight for these. I typically use roughly what I would for the raises, anterior raises, or the lateral raises, or even the standing presses, but you can even go lower depending on what you want to do. We're going to kneel on the bench here, but you can do it standing if you want. So elbow up like this, and then we're going to open like a door hinge and close. So we're going to do both sides here. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and switch sides. Elbow up. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And we can rest. Not a lot of rest here because we're doing both sides. So the big thing is to not let your elbow drop and to try and have a nice straight back while we're doing this. So I'll show you from the opposite side here just so you can focus on my back here. So see how straight that is. My knees right underneath my hip. My hands right underneath my shoulder. Nice flat back. And switching sides. Same thing on the opposite side here as well. And you can see how my elbow stays nice and high here. Stays in view of the picture the whole time. I'm gonna straighten my back a little bit. And we got one more round of these, and then we'll go into our cool down. So we got 10 seconds, then we'll go into our last round. So really focus on trying to keep your elbow high. Very, very important. And if you have any gas left in the tank, try and put out a little bit of power if you can. Last round for me, other side. Great job, everyone. Let's finish off your reps if you need to. Put your bench away. If you need the space for your mat. And we'll move right into our cool down. Starting with the downward dog. Hike your hips up and back. Pump out your calves if you want. We didn't really do legs, so we can probably just stay in that downward dog. Try and create that V position. Maybe you need your knees bent a bit. Probably feel fatigue through your upper back. And we'll come forward into a half kneel. Hands on the inside. Let's go into our lizard. And switch sides. And we'll go straight into our world's greatest. So staying like this, let's open up best we can. Feeling the stretch through our T-spine. Try and push this palm into the wall behind me. And down. Switch sides. Same thing. Open up. Feel the stretch in your upper back. Feel the tightness from all that exercise. And we'll go into pigeon next. So whipping your leg into a 90 position, dropping down on your forearms if you're able to, or you can stay high, whatever you need to do. And let's switch sides. And we'll go into Cobra. And finish off in child's pose. Heels into your butt, forehead into the mat. Couple deep breaths. One more deep breath. Great job. Way to finish off a pretty difficult, challenging push workout. So I'm sure you're feeling it in your chest, triceps, and shoulders, just like I am. And hope you have a great week, and I'll see you next week.